Every story of a dark genius begins the same way, not with greatness, but with difference. While other children laugh, play, and blend into the world, the dark genius stands apart. They observe more than they participate. They listen to the whispers others ignore. They see patterns where others see chaos. Psychologists call it cognitive divergence, a brain wired differently, processing the world in strange and unpredictable ways. But to the child, it feels like isolation, a lonely sense that they are not like the rest. History is full of these signs. Albert Einstein, mocked by teachers who thought he was slow because he questioned every assumption. Nikola Tesla, plagued by vivid visions and strange compulsions as a young boy. Even darker figures like Adolf Hitler sketched dreams of grandeur while being dismissed as talentless by the very institutions he later sought to destroy. The birth of a dark genius is not marked by brilliance alone, but by pain. It begins in rejection, in ridicule, in misunderstanding. And that wound, that ache of being unseen or unwanted, becomes fuel. A burning fire that drives them to prove the world wrong, no matter the cost. For some, that fire becomes invention. For others, it becomes domination. But in every case, it plants the seed of obsession. And obsession, once planted, grows without mercy. It whispers to them, "You are not like them. You are meant for something greater, something forbidden." And so, in childhood bedrooms, in lonely libraries, in darkened corners of society, the first spark ignites. The genius begins to awaken. But with that awakening comes a choice. Will their brilliance save the world or destroy it? Once the spark of difference is lit, it begins to grow into something far more dangerous: obsession. Obsession is the heartbeat of every dark genius. It begins small, an idea, a puzzle, a vision so vivid it will not let go. But unlike ordinary people who can shrug off curiosity, the dark genius cannot escape it. It burrows into their mind, repeating, echoing, demanding to be solved. For Leonardo da Vinci, it was the perfection of the human form. He dissected corpses by candlelight, night after night, unable to rest until he understood every tendon, every bone, every hidden detail of nature's design. For Nikola Tesla, it was energy, invisible forces that haunted his imagination. He would stare at the sky, sketching lightning in his notebooks, convinced he could harness it to change the world. And for darker figures, obsession took on a more sinister shape: the pursuit of power, control, or destruction. Machiavelli obsessed over manipulation. Dictators obsessed over absolute rule. Each one trapped in a cycle of thoughts they could never turn off. Obsession is intoxicating, but also poisonous. It gives the genius focus beyond normal human limits, the ability to work without rest, to think without distraction, to sacrifice everything for a single idea. But obsession is not satisfied with half measures. It whispers more, deeper, closer. Do not stop until the vision is complete. And so, days turn into months. Months into years. Friendships fade. Families dissolve. Health collapses. The world shrinks down to a single question, a single image, a single goal. The obsession becomes the air they breathe, the blood in their veins, the only reason they continue to exist. And yet, obsession is a double-edged sword. For every masterpiece it produces, it leaves behind a trail of madness, ruin, and despair. The seeds of obsession grow into something extraordinary, a towering tree of genius. But hidden within its roots is a poison that will, sooner or later, consume the one who planted it. It is here, in the soil of obsession, that the forbidden formula begins to take shape, a formula that will lead the dark genius into isolation and eventually into the shadows of power. Because perfection is not just their standard, it is their addiction. But addiction has consequences, and soon the obsession with flawlessness pushes them further into solitude, deeper into silence, where no one can interrupt their pursuit. It is here, in the cold walls of isolation, that their genius sharpens, but it is also here that their humanity begins to fade. Obsession gives birth to a dangerous companion, perfection. For the dark genius, nothing is ever finished. Nothing is ever enough. Every detail must be sharpened, every flaw erased, every vision completed with godlike precision. This is not ambition. This is not discipline. This is a prison of their own making, a perfection trap that tightens with every creation. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, who left behind hundreds of unfinished sketches and paintings, because his search for perfection made completion impossible. Think of Stanley Kubrick, the legendary filmmaker, who forced actors to repeat a single scene over 100 times, obsessed with capturing the flawless expression. Or think of dictators and strategists who micromanaged entire empires down to the smallest detail, rewriting rules of life itself, because in their eyes, imperfection was weakness. The perfection trap gives them brilliance, but it also drives them to insanity. Days vanish in endless rewrite. Nights dissolve into sketches, equations, blueprints, repeated again and again. Every mistake feels catastrophic. Every flaw feels like betrayal. Ordinary people see the beauty of good enough. But to the dark genius, good enough is death. Their mind whispers, if it is not perfect, it is worthless. And if you cannot make it perfect, then you are worthless too. This is why so many dark geniuses teeter on the edge of collapse. The perfection trap devours them from within, demanding more than the human body or even the human soul can give. And yet, paradoxically, it is this same trap that produces the extraordinary, the paintings that haunt us, the inventions that reshape humanity, the strategies that topple nations.